Director Krennic. Will we see him again in Andor? I don't know. We're going to try to figure that out with a little Speculation Nation. Welcome, everybody. This is the Resistance Broadcast. I'm John. Thank you for joining us today, Monday, News Day, where we give our takes on all the latest Star Wars news, also rumors and that sort of stuff. We try to get in the mix, give our takes on what we think is going on in a galaxy far, far away. James and Lacey with me, as always. James, welcome back, James.
He's back. Oh, you got to do it.
Oh, I'm back, baby.
Did his voice even just crack?
No, I know. I was like, I'm not, is that it? It's not. It's back, baby. It's
I'm back, baby.
Yeah.
That went exactly how I'd hoped it would.
Yeah.
It's like sounded like Cher. Oh, I'm back.
Yeah.
James, how was your vacation? You have a good time? You unwind? Did you try to not think about Star Wars? How was it?
He's got that vacation shirt on. He's in full vacation mode.
That's a big vacation shirt.
Yeah. So I definitely went and picked up a couple of those like Hawaiian style-esque, you know what I mean? Like type shirts. Just
like
just
this?
Oh, here he comes. Here he comes.
I love that he got these
I don't know
things
where
from
you
Star Wars Celebration and has left them in his basement since he got them in like November.
Yeah, he goes, oh, like this, and then he proceeds to leave for like 20 seconds now. Like I don't know where he went.
Left the items downstairs. He has to go get
I guess
them.
so. He's gonna come back in a minute.
down in a minute, guys.
All right. Well, no, it was definitely a fun trip, and I'm glad that you guys were able to, or not were able to, but let me go. Oh, there he is. Hey.
Now tell me, has that been sitting in your basement since November?
Flights of stairs will get you
Yeah,
at
I'm
my
sure they
age.
surely will.
I don't want to wear this today.
Okay. Anyway, yes.
So that was all for a bit. All right.
It wasn't the same without you, but yes, we did have a couple people on.
No, yeah.
So
it was great.
Did you check out the episodes?
Absolutely, yeah. And I found out
Imagine if
that
you were
apparently
like,
Adam
"Hell
Witt lives in
no."
Dayton, so we got to be doing some stuff. That's cool.
He lives in LA. He's from Dayton.
Oh no!
And he had a Dayton.
Did I miss
Yeah.
that?
He
I'm
went-
sitting there like, oh, he's from Dayton. He's from Dayton. That's awesome.
He chased his dream, James. He's
my
out on
gosh.
the coast.
Never mind. Sorry, Adam.
But yeah, so Lacey and I were going to put
Hanging out
together
at
a
the
trip.
Kettering barbecue. But, yeah.
Inside jokes for Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah.
Lacey and I were going to put together TRB trivia to see if you actually paid to watch the episodes. But
We were.
we believe you did. Yeah. James. So did you like seeing Steve talking about Star Wars again?
Yeah. I mean, he's funny, man. I still catch an episode of BSR every once in a while and stuff. Like I love those guys. Yeah, and like you said, I mean, it's fun. It's fun. I know they kind of took their sabbatical from it, and I think Steve said something that I had said recently on the show that we were discussing, that like I feel like there was like the Last Jedi Solo shakeup for a long time, and I feel like we've all mediumed out as a fan community. There's still like weird little things, ups and downs, and little things. There's always going to be that. Yeah. But I feel like there was this huge shakeup that caused them to get out of there. And I think he's feeling the same way I am. Whereas like, I think a lot of that stuff has kind of progressed and run its course. And now we're just in a kind of a new state where it's like, it still exists, but it was bad. And now it's like somebody passing away or something like that. There's like a period of time where it's like really bad and it still sucks. It's still there, but it's like you're kind of okay with it, or you've come to terms with it to a degree. Yeah.
You look like you got some color.
Maybe. I did increase my saturation on this camera though. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just playing with you. No, probably. I mean,
you're also
we were out
sitting
on the
next to a
beaches for
ghost, so.
Yeah.
It's the Resistance.
Guys, a couple of really cool stories this week, and we're going to kick it off by talking a little bit about the possibility of us finally owning in our hands, or not owning at least, but like holding a real lightsaber. There was actually this a virtual event that happened that had to do with Disney parks, and it was not able to be broadcast or really kind of covered in any way, really. They couldn't take video, they couldn't do photos or anything like that. So we kind of just got to take the word for the people that were there. But it was very clear that they revealed something really cool within the Star Wars world, which is this new thing that was patented a while ago. So you may have seen it, but they actually brought it out on stage and showed it. And they, hit the button and like it actually like comes up and then lights up, and it's so crazy what they're getting ready to come up with. And we think this could obviously be used for it might be a toy or something, but more likely used for an attraction at Galaxy's Edge. This is really cool, guys. I wanted to start with you, Lacey, on this one. What did you think of the real lightsaber that was unveiled at this Disney Parks virtual event?
Well, first of all, I hope they show it eventually, because the only people that got to see it were from the press. And then I believe Scott Townbridge, right? That's his name. One of the Imagineers. Trowbridge. I'm so sorry. Trowbridge. He had tweeted that it does exist. They're not showing it yet, but it does exist. So my understanding from the patent that they had filed a couple years ago is that's basically an LED tape that works on a spool that when the lightsaber comes out of the tube, it's this LED tape that stretches out, and then when you retract it, it goes back onto the spool.
Yep.
So yeah, it sounds cool. I can't wait to see it in action. I know it's not gonna be cheap, knowing Disney, just because the park stuff is expensive.
Yeah, they explained how it works, or you're guessing?
No,
in the
you
patent,
can see the
it explains
patents pictures. Yeah.
So what? Explain that to me again.
Okay.
So they have like LED tape. It's a piece of tape. I actually have some in my house. I
do too, actually.
It's a piece of tape with lights on it, like this, like little square lights, and you usually put it like above beams or cabinets in your kitchen. Basically any type of lighting. And the way this lightsaber works is the tube extends and the tape extends, and it's on a spool, kind of like a measuring tape.
Yeah,
and then
you're unrolling.
Yep.
It,
and then when you retract it, it brings it back in.
Mm-hmm. So actually, a good example might be, think if you had a motorized measuring tape, and inside the measuring tape, that you were able to like push a button and it turned the motor on, and it started spinning the measuring tape backwards so that it forced the piece out. Right. That's kind of what's happening, and it's then pushing the telescoping plastic or whatever's around it out as well. But I think it's like connected at the end, because then when you reverse it, it pulls that telescoping.
It's spooling it back in like a measuring tape. That's what I thought about it.
Mm-hmm. So it's not real then?
No, it's not an actual beam. But what people saw,
John, you saw that video on YouTube. It was the real lightsaber.
People just assumed it was like, a big deal, I guess. And it is a big deal. It's really cool, but I wouldn't say it's not like shooting actual like light that can cut through stuff.
No,
yeah. One day.
Yeah, my
one day. What do you want to cut through? What?
I don't know.
One day, I'll do it. One day.
A crate dragon. We cut up some meat.
Yeah. My initial thought with this was that it wouldn't actually be something that you can buy. Now I could be wrong on that, but I remember there was a report a while ago that was, it had more to do with like a technology that they were using that was like you could deflect beams, like blaster beams being shot at you using this like lightsaber thing.
Oh, like a show thing.
No, like an attraction. Like you would.
That's
go
what I'm saying.
in,
like
So like they would give you a lightsaber, and then you'd go in, and there would be like
that's the hotel, right?
Being shot at you, and you would be able to like deflect.
That's the hotel.
It could be, yeah. So then I was like, okay, so there's obviously the technology going into the lightsaber as well, because it needs to be able to do this. And I wonder how they're going to do that. And then around the same time, I would say this patent came out for an actual retractable lightsaber. And I was like, you got to think those two are the same.
Yeah, the Star Cruiser has this whole experience that you can go to the hotel and do this deflecting lightsaber thing.
So now that you're saying it is like an item that you could purchase, that makes perfect sense too. I understand that. And that's very likely as well. But my gut reaction to it was that this was part of an attraction, like something that they would give you, you would use, and you'd be like, wow, that's neat. And then you hand it back to them when you're walking.
I can't wait to see it. That's all I got to say. But I can't imagine this being any cheaper than a Hasbro a Force Effects lightsaber, which is at this point they're hitting $249 in price. So
yeah, crazy.
John, what did you think of the lightsaber? I mean, I know you're disappointed it literally wasn't a real lightsaber.
I can cut through stuff now.
Look, don't tell me, don't be that cool guy and be like, hey, it's real, and then like give me a tape measure though. That's all I'm saying.
Star Wars Newsnet covered it as real. There's
I know.
around
Didn't
it.
you write that headline?
I wrote the headline. Yeah. But you put it in quotes. You put it in quotes because that's what he said. That's the whole point of it. Like he said it's real, you know? So what happens when they actually do make the real one? It's really real and really dangerous. You know? I don't know. I guess it's cool. I can't really say anything about it until I see it. Like, no offense, and you explained it probably perfectly, Lacey, but
my dad's an electrician.
It sounds a little disappointing. I don't know.
I can't wait to see it. I think it's really cool.
I can't possibly be imagining you're saying
agree.
you're disappointed by this because it's not a real lightsaber.
No.
Like
but
literally
like thinking like
no other toy company or business ever has created an actual retracting lightsaber.
They had the
That's
retracting.
the
They had the
story.
retracting lightsabers that the plastic would go inside that piece.
But
and
then
that
they're
piece,
each
and that
different
piece.
pieces of plastic.
No, but that's.
I'm curious. I just want to see it. That's all I'm saying. Because I don't want to overhype myself for it and do that whole thing. I'm sure it's cool. I'm sure it's going to be $5 billion. Or you get it.
I bet it's $400.
Or you get it if you reserve a month stay at the Disney World Galactic Cruiser Hotel.
They only let you stay for 3 days.
Yeah, but unless you're like, yeah, but I'm the lightsaber.
I'm a
guy.
resident
And-
at the Star Cruiser.
And you light a real lightsaber and say, "I'm staying here forever."
I'm still thinking it's an attraction piece because I could see the motors like going out after a while or something, or people are trying to hit with it and it breaks the motor, and then there's this big like problem because they spent all this money on it. So I think they're going to use it in the attraction, and then when it breaks, they just like toss it and put in a new one, and everybody's
It would be
works.
cool if like especially during nighttime when they do like the scenes and you see like Rey versus Kylo Ren if they're like igniting.
That's a
lightsabers
good
and
point.
stuff.
Like the actual.
Well, that's what I was
attractions.
saying at first. Is not the training one. Is shows like with Rey.
The shows. That's what I would figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, that makes even more sense.
I'm just giving it a hard time. I think that is really cool that they're they put so much time and effort in. It shows that
Really?
it shows that they care. It shows that they care, and I think that's cool because I don't necessarily think this is going to be a retail thing. I really do think it's going to be just in the park for the sake of the show and the events and stuff. I don't think people are going to be buying this stuff, but who knows? I mean, we have to learn more about it. But
all I think about is the sporks. Where people were stealing sporks to the point that Disney was like, no more sporks. We're only selling them. So now you have to buy the spork.
It's kind of, you know how like you like seeing things you like constantly wanting to do more or get better and stuff. And, Star Wars is not banking on just being Star Wars. They're looking to advance and do things to make the experience more like Star Wars. And I really do appreciate that. It makes me know that there are people that it is a business, but they want people happy, and that's the part of doing that. So I think that's cool. I just want to I kind of want to see it and see more of it and stuff like that before I'm like, oh my god, take my money, but it's cool. It is cool.
I noticed that when you freak out you just start talking like me.
Is that how you talk?
I'm just kidding.
Which voice?
John sees something really cool and he goes, "Wow, I'm Lacey."
Take my money.
All right, cool.
Note to self, that's the Lacey voice.
Let's talk about this other story here. And we've been talking a lot recently about leaked material and what that means for the story. But sometimes, we get these like images and things. We kind of want to just touch on them a little bit. There was some new leaked set photos or whatever from the Star Wars Andor series. These, as I'll let Lacey get into it because she actually noticed something really cool about them, is that it doesn't seem so much like it's part of the set. It actually looks like it was kind of filmed like more on a location that they were repurposing. So that's kind of neat. But I think the big headline that everybody was going with was that there were these Imperial soldiers or members of the Imperial Army that kind of looked very familiar to a lot of different things, like ISB officers, Yularen, and more specifically because it's in that Rogue One area of director Krennic. Kind of had that style. I believe the original photos were taken by somebody. It's like, hey, look, guys who look like Krennic. So it kind of raises the question, and we were going to talk a little bit about Orson Krennic possibly showing up in this and or other series. Get it? Andor? Bad joke. But no, John, let's get started really quick right away. What were your thoughts when you saw the photos? Were you happy about another leak, or do you think this is interesting? What's going on?
Yeah, this stuff doesn't like bother me at all. I don't mind seeing stuff like this that doesn't seem to give that much away. Like I remember when the episode 9 behind the scenes photos of the sun came out when they were outside of the Cardington air sheds and they were just in that field, and then it turns out that they were standing in front of a CGI Death Star 2 wreckage, but we didn't know that. They're just standing on some grassy field, and it's just cool like seeing stuff like that. So I never minded things like that. This tells me nothing about the story. What I do find cool is seeing the Imperial Security Bureau officers, and that is their version of like the FBI for the Empire, and it could be in a situation where they're looking for a spy, and there could be a cat and mouse game going on here, and I like that because that always instantly gives you heightened tension and action, and that's what I think this series is going to be a lot of oh, we just missed them kind of things, and Cassian just getting by, just sneaking by before getting caught, that sort of stuff. And the hope that maybe we could get an appearance by Ben Mendelsohn as Krennic. Series are certainly not below Ben Mendelsohn by any stretch of the imagination. He recently did one, The Outsider, on Showtime or HBO. He did Bloodline for Netflix. He's certainly experienced in doing those types of serialized storytelling. And I think he really enjoyed playing Krennic because he marched out there in his uniform at Celebration, I believe it was, as Krennic, and took the stage with the whole ISB clan and crew.
It was so cool.
Right. You were there, right?
I was.
Star Wars does this a lot where they'll be filming at a major studio. Obviously, Pinewood's a favorite of theirs. And they're filming there for Andor right now, where they'll pick a location within 100 miles, like they did with the Rise of Skywalker. They went to outside of the Cardington air sheds. They found some fields that they had Vic Mahoney doing second unit shooting, and that wound up being the Kefbir foreground of the Death Star 2 wreckage. And this looks like something very similar, where they're scouting locations that look Star Wars-y, and they found this spot. I don't know if it's a shopping mall, I don't know if it's a pier, who knows what it is, but it looks like there's water there. And they don't have to do a lot of set dressing. Obviously, there's some minor rows of green screen there, but a lot of it's going to be pretty organic. So I don't know what this is or what, but to me, when you got the ISB guys there, it looks like it could be very well they're on the hunt for somebody, and whether that's Cassian or somebody else. Again, like I said before, I like the idea of the cat and mouse. That part of those spy espionage shows are very exciting to me because you feel it in your chest. You're like, oh my god, he's gonna get caught.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he just sneaks out or just gets out or something, which is also a very Star Warsy thing. Like, punch it, we just get out of the way, but just before getting blown away. So, a lot of surfacey stuff here. Looking at these types of photos involves a lot of speculation if you want to, podcast about it and talk about it, because we don't get a lot here, but it's fun when you get the imagination going, as long as you always know in the end you're not building something up in your head that's not going to end up happening and disappointing in the end. That's the fun part of speculation. So,
yeah. So Lacey, let me ask you, where do you think this is?
I honestly don't know. As I said before, and I was kind of joking around about it, I said it before we started recording tonight, it's clear that they shot this at a location that's not in a green screen place. They just set up the green screens after the fact because they're shooting in an actual location. We saw them do this with Canary Wharf for Rogue One. These actually photos, funny enough, are giving me flashbacks to The Last Jedi when they were shooting in Croatia. And we got all those shots of them like with the car exploding and nobody knew what was going on. And then later it was the Fathiers crashing onto the car and flipping the car over. So this to me looks like some type of city. It kind of looks like Corellia a little bit from what we've seen of Corellia with like all the scaffolding and everything. But again, we don't know if that's going to make it into the final cut. These people do look very upscale dressed. So it could be Coruscant, you really don't know. The thing that kind of did make me laugh a little bit is typical of Star Wars fans. We see a redhead guy and we're like, it's Cal Kestis, obviously. Like that's immediately what people thought when they saw these
people say that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I also kind of laughed to myself when John was talking about how these guys are like FBI agents, because I've been watching a lot of Criminal Minds and I was like, is this the BA unit, BAU unit of the Imperials? But more than anything, their pants are ridiculous. I'm sorry. I'm never going to get past Imperial, like those balloony pants that they have.
That's all Tarkin.
Yeah, but you can definitely spot them a mile away. So it does not surprise me that someone passing by was like, those clearly look like Imperial officers because nobody wears those pants.
And you know what's real quick? The guy, just for the sake, I had spoken with the guy who tweeted this stuff out, and for clarity, and he said that his friend had sent these to him, and they heard on the PA them telling the actors or extras, whoever these people, they're reminding them to put on their black robes and hoods to cover their costumes. They were being reminded to not be out where the public can see them.
Well,
and I remember that
all failed the assignment.
They failed the assignment.
These people are all wearing their clothes, from the girl with the cute little side bag to everything. Like they've failed the assignment.
Yeah, that's definitely not an Earth purse.
To
James,
me,
what do you think?
Well, to me, this looks like an airport or a like a train station of some sort. It looks like some
Spaceport,
sort of transportation. Well, no, I mean in real life, it looks like that type of thing, because there's like an elevator in the background, and then it's like indoor, but it has this like, I'm sure it's like skylight lighting or whatever. They're trying to give you this like open to architecture design. But the thing about usually when they shoot this kind of stuff is like, let me tell you what's going to show up in the real movie or the show. It's like that floor, that railing, maybe that water. That's it. Like you're not going to see any of this other stuff, I don't think.
Maybe the white wall, but that's like it. Yeah, the white bend. Because it's got that very hard line. Maybe that.
Yeah, I guess that if theoretically that does kind of look like maybe something they put in place so that it's like the outside of this ship or something like that. Maybe they're like like as if it was like the Titanic and they're like getting on board. They're like, it's right next to them. But I don't know. I mean, like this, we'll watch this show and we'll totally even forget that this was part of it. I'd bet.
Well, that's why I was bringing up the Last Jedi thing, is like all the theories that came from that being like, where are the main characters? Clearly they're going to be doing this and that. And then it ended up to be a scene that none of us even fathiered.
Would have put two and two together. You are right though, based on these costumes, this looks a little more core world than it does on the outside.
Yeah.
So
there's no sand. Obviously.
Yeah, I wouldn't put any money on it being like something very specific like Hosnian Prime or something like that. But I wouldn't doubt if it was some sort of core world where it was like fancy with a strong Imperial presence, or something along those lines. But most of the people there probably don't have any problem with the Empire because they're not actually pushing them around,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the things, like in the back of the photo where the ISB guys are, it looks like there is a female version of an ISB uniform.
With the long
I thought you were going to say Jabba the Hutt, because I see Jabba the Hutt right there. No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah. It looks like almost like a dress coat type of thing.
Yeah.
And where the legs from the knee down are exposed, and then there's she has a hat on which looks like an ISB hat. So could we be seeing our first female ISB officer in Star Wars as possible?
That would be
If
cool.
there's one or not, yeah. She kind of from this distance, which is really crazy distance. She kind of reminds me of the like booth person in Solo that was like being handed
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like something about the outfit or the hat or something kind of reminds me of that particular character.
And now we can go digging into the cast, being like, who is that? Is that somebody? But it's probably just
extra.
No, it's probably, just an extra or additional person. You guys want to talk a little bit about the Rise of Skywalker?
Speaking of officers.
Domnall Gleeson is doing the rounds. We talked about this all the time. We always laugh about it. Like anytime they're promoting any movie or any show or anything, and they're loosely related to Star Wars, people are going to bring up Star Wars. So they asked him, hey, what are your thoughts about looking now a little removed from the sequel trilogy? What are your thoughts? Would you be interested in returning as Hux? Couple different articles on this promotion cycle. All kind of coming together. But Lacey, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on Domhnall Gleeson's comments on returning and possibly, how it all went down for Hux specifically?
Not surprising in the sense of I feel like every single person, like you said, that's involved with Star Wars is getting asked, would they come back? Of course they'd come back. It's a paycheck. They get to be in a Star Wars project. Yes, they'd come back. I don't think, have we ever heard of someone saying they wouldn't? Poe Dameron, maybe.
Like Oscar Isaac and Boyega's been a little vocal about it too, but
yeah,
I mean, oftentimes a lot of people, I don't think that like, everybody doesn't get asked. Sometimes like Baze Malbus, hey, would you return? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it is weird because obviously his character is dead, R.I.P. Yeah. But I don't know how he would come back unless it's like obviously before The Force Awakens or something earlier. It was interesting for him to say, he wished his character got to hung around a little longer because then it just feeds those people that are like, see what was done wrong. But then he goes on to say the movie couldn't be 17 hours long. So it's a give and take there, but I understand why he would love to come back or why he'd be okay with it because it's another project and who doesn't want to be involved in Star Wars? Other than that, do I think we're going to see him again? Probably not.
Yeah. John, what were your thoughts on his comments?
Yeah, I think like any actor, I would love to have had more scenes or something like that, which is expected. He said, you never see people knocking JJ. He said, but JJ knew what he was doing and, we trusted in what his plan was. It seemed like everybody likes Abrams who worked for him. I personally think Hux had no shot after The Last Jedi. I think that character took a hard, sidestep or was pushed aside from what he was in The Force Awakens, which was this just ruthlessly violent and really antagonistic character that butted heads with Kylo Ren. Last Jedi took Kylo Ren and really pushed him up front and didn't make it one of those back and forths between the two, like we saw in TFA. They were both really struggling for power for the approval of Snoke. He really took a back seat in The Last Jedi, and I don't know that there was an ability to recover that. I know Colin Trevorrow had ideas where Hux was going to do more of this like behind the scenes manipulation sort of thing, but I think Abrams' focus was on getting the three heroes together and really pushing that because they weren't together the whole trilogy. So the whole focus was mainly on those three, and a lot of other characters suffered because of that. And I get that. So for the the Rose apologists and the Hux apologists and that sort of thing, like that you're not going to get the 17-hour movie. And I think that's his point there. And I agree with Lacey. I don't think we're going to see Hux again. I wish we got a better version of Hux because he was so good in The Force Awakens, where a lot of these officers in these Star Wars movies are just little bit joke parts, apology accepted Captain Nita sort of stuff. And he really was a menacing, intimidating, scary, genocidal maniac.
That monologue was insane.
Unbelievable. And I feel like we lost out on that, and I just think they did what they could with it. I don't like the whole he was the spy thing. That's the one thing of The Rise of Skywalker I thought was stupid. I thought there was something else they could have done with him, but because I remember in the theater when it happened, I looked at Lacey, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me right I remember saying that
You
to
did
you,
say that to me.
and
He
I
points
was
out
like,
in this
"Oh,
article, though,
God."
that he's
I
like,
laughed.
I thought that was weird, but then everybody laughed in the audience and was surprised and stuff. And he's like,
No,
oh, you know?
I think he means they gasped when he got shot, but I could be wrong. But either way, I mean, maybe you're right, but I think most people would say it was a dumb thing.
Looking back at going into the Rise of Skywalker, I remember one of my big hopes for that movie was that he was going to take over as the big bad guy.
I never thought that. Yeah, we argued that.
I
You
remember
never thought
Lacey
it,
thought
but
it-
my
yeah.
hope was that it could happen because I really liked who he was in The Force Awakens, and I had no
Yeah.
idea that Palpatine was going to be involved in any way. So
Yeah.
I was hoping we would get back to that Hux from the first movie.
Yeah, there's a very interesting argument when it comes to Hux just in general, because like as you mentioned before, John, like most of these admirals and officers and captains and things like that are in the original trilogy, they're at best they're like in 2 of the movies, because they just kind of like pop in here and there, and then they make like
with
a cameo
3 lines
or an appearance here, and we all know them because they do this and they expand in with the comics and other things like that. But for the most part, it's kind of unprecedented that someone that is just like part of the First Order or like a leader there would have such a strong presence in all 3 movies. So I think there's an argument to be say like, hey, this guy actually got more screen time than anybody else of his stature. So you should be glad that he even made it to the 3rd movie whatsoever. So, I mean, again, there's that argument, but I'm in agreement with you guys too. I think he was a really cool character in the first one, showed a lot of promise. And I think like the second one kind of focused elsewhere. So it set him up to kind of be a different type of character. And then you're exactly right, John, when you mentioned like there was just no time in the 3rd one. Like we're not going to mess around with this. We're trying to introduce or intrigue a new plot with him.
My guess would be Abrams was like, I don't want to do it, just completely cast him aside. What can we do to give him relevance without making it a big plot thing? And they're like, let's just make him a mole.
Especially at this point, now there's an argument to be made like, well, you didn't need Pride. Pride could have been Hux, but they were trying to make Pride look stronger. They were trying to say, we have this other guy that is this deep, darker First Order person, you know what I mean? And he is definitely supposed to be the top.
Well, he's
here.
Pride's the connection to the old empire too, which is important for the Palpatine
and
thing.
him very one-upping and taking out and just like showing no remorse for this other character who's been with the movie for 3 films now is supposed to just raise him up as a character.
So he goes, I'm the spy. I was like, oh,
yeah.
God.
Well, I don't know.
Hux was talking to. I mean, Hux had a meeting with Bulio. That's what that means.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right. Well, if there's not much else to talk about Domhnall Gleeson, we'd love to have him back. You know, if there was a way to somehow get him into one of these Disney Plus series that takes place before The Force Awakens or something, that would be cool. We'd love to see it. There were a couple of things that we just want to talk about. Quick little notes. New Bad Batch poster was revealed, and a very cool one. So if you haven't checked that out, go take a look at it now. Kind of reminds me a lot of the old Star Wars original movie posters, especially with that looming.
It's a cool poster.
Sidious up at the top. Very cool.
Yeah.
To check out. Also, there was a lot of stuff that was announced at the Hasbro FanFest. Probably, I might be over speaking here, but like the most crazy thing or the coolest thing was this Wedge's helmet. For a lot of those helmet collectors, that Black Series helmet is like really awesome. And so I think it was kind of like a title piece for them. John even has one right there. Lacey has one right behind her too.
I do. I have the Poe one.
Yeah. So these are really cool. And if you want to get Wedges, it is now coming and it's been revealed. So go check it out. Lacey, was there anything else?
Lacey was the star of the show.
Yeah. I mean, was there anything else interesting about
I was in the FanFest.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Lacey, you were the FanFest.
Surprise. I was the Star Wars representative, which according to the comments, I represent no one. and I am paid by Hasbro. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, that's the rumor anyway. No, it was super fun. I appreciate Hasbro asking me. They wanted my initial response on what they announced, which they announced basically all the stuff that they had in the pipeline back from February, which is cool to finally see them as actual figures because you get the kind of references. You don't get to see the actual things in action. They announced the Wedge helmet, which is cool if you're a Wedge fan. I'm not. So, I mean, it's cool for those people, but I'm still waiting for the Kylo Ren helmet to make its way back. And then
I just like in battle bots, any bot that is a Wedge. That's they're usually the ones that win.
That is a throwback. And then they had the Rogue One Vintage Collection General Merrick X-Wing, which is cool.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all vehicles in Star Wars are cool. But I'm interested to see what they announce on May 4th. They're doing a panel on May the 4th, Star Wars Day, where they're going to have other reveals. So it makes me wonder if they held stuff back for the big Star Wars Day announcement.
I think you
Ray's
nailed
yellow
it too.
lightsaber, please.
Yeah, I did think it was funny when they were like, we listen to fan campaigns. We're really dialed in. We're really focusing on what
I
you
thought
guys
that they
have
were
been
going to
asking
announce
for.
the saber there. I thought that was it.
And then they go, so here it is, Antok Merrick from Rogue One. I'm like, what fan campaign for Antok Merrick? But
honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were gonna announce something like Ben Solo or something from the Rise of Skywalker that they haven't done yet. Something.
more other fan campaigns.
Yeah, or Solo. They plenty of stuff from Solo to do. But hopefully May the 4th, they did ask me during the panel if there was something that I would hope to see, and I made sure they knew. Ray's yellow lightsaber, so it's out there.
When you said that too, I forget the Hannah, I think her name was. No, Mara?
Jackie Jennings.
Jackie, that's right. Yeah,
Close. You said a name.
Yeah. When you said that, she gave a specific reaction, and I don't know if it was surprised to. It looked surprised to me, and I took it immediately as, oh, she knows that's the thing that's coming on May the 4th, or it was, as John was alluding to, that they're not actually listening to fans at all. And she's like, oh, is that something people want?
She's like, who's Red?
I do feel bad too. There were some people up on screen with me, but it's like when you're in the zone, you're not really thinking about it. Our buddy Mark Newbold was on the screen all the way to the left, and he said he waved at me, and I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. It's just when you're getting
he did one of the Brady Bunch things. He went like this. He went like this and like waved. He was like pointing, like he's doing it.
I feel bad.
Mark, we got to get Mark back.
I know, he's the best. But it was a really fun experience. Thanks for everybody that shared pictures of my weird faces that I was making when I couldn't stop laughing.
You did a great job. Yeah,
Thanks.
It was awesome.
So we'll see. May 4th. Keep your fingers crossed for me.
Absolutely. And the very last thing that we wanted to talk about just real quick is that there was a new announcement of a wave of High Republic stories that are coming. No, the interesting thing about this is I feel like it got published a lot as like, check out the next big wave, but like everything that they were talking about had already been announced. We already knew about a lot of this stuff. However, they did add new details. So if you want to go in and take a look and get a better idea of what's coming up in the like kind of second wave of High Republic content, the comic books and the novels and stuff like that. Yeah. Go check it out. All that stuff is covered on StarWarsNewsNet.com. And the links to the article should be in the description of this video. So that is it for the Resistance Report this week. Lacey, what's up next?
Guys, it's time for the Patreon pod race. All right, guys, Patreon pod race. This is the part where we let our patrons be a part of the show. First of all, you can support us in lots of different ways. You can like this video, comment, subscribe on YouTube. You can follow us on all the podcast apps. We love Spotify. You can give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much. You can follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN. Or if you want even more, well, before that, if you also want to follow us on Instagram, that's great too, at The Resistance Broadcast. But if you want more than that, you can head over to patreon.com/Resistance Broadcast. Starting at $2 a month and going up in the tiers, you get more access, more content. We're giving our patrons live Q&As moving forward, which we're really excited about, more watch along stuff like that. We have so many cool things planned that we can't wait to share, including as we ramp up for Make Solo 2 Happen Day, where we'll figure out ways to get you guys involved. So before we get to the actual part where we get to one of our generals, I want to thank our generals. I've been talking so much, I'm out of breath. So thank you, Carmelo, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, Neil Shaw, David Probus, John Reese, Micah Harrison, Jetta Rosewater, Michael Gaines, Kendall Gelnar, Paul Olson, Jake Houchins, Jeff Connery, Oliver Lewis, Dave Hornack, oh my God, Frank Grande.
Who's Jalala?
Ryan Wara, Haas Aslam, and Val Trichkoff. Thank you so much. I saw a J and then I wasn't looking at a J and my brain was like, that's not a J. And that's what happened. So you're welcome. This week we have Jeremy, General Jeremy, and we asked him a question and this is his chance to then answer said question. The question was, how do you think Star Wars episodes 7 through 9 will age with fans in 10 to 20 years? Better, worse, or the same? Jeremy, take it away.
Hey guys, so this is by far the most difficult question you have posed to me yet, and I don't know if it's because of how strongly I feel or how controversial the topic is in general, but I did not care for the sequel the way some people might. The original is always going to, by far, be the best, and to me, carry the most legacy in this. But the sequel trilogy, I loved. The Force Awakens, think it was beautiful and done so good, but the last two movies, I had lots of problems with and felt rushed, and I don't know how my opinion stacks up with the masses. I know they were controversial movies in themselves, so I don't know, that's how I feel. I don't see it carrying up well over time. I think it'll just be what it is. So hope you guys are all great. General Jeremy out.
All right, Jeremy, thank you for your answer. John, what did you think?
Bummer, man. Bummer. No, I mean, look, that's what makes this whole world go around in terms of being a fan of Star Wars. People like different things, people dislike things, and you gave your take, and it's an honest one. But that just goes to show you still love Star Wars. You're still going to celebrations and stuff like that, even though maybe those weren't your favorite movies. And that's a great way to be, because this ultimately this stuff is entertainment. It's not supposed to control and run your life. So you operate a great way as a fan, and I know there's plenty more Star Wars coming that you love. And more importantly than not, thanks for supporting us, being a general. And I hope you and the family are doing well, buddy. And hopefully, I do see you in Anaheim. But until then, see you in the chats. And as always, thanks for being a general. James?
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people agree with that sentiment too, particularly the sequel trilogy. I tend to still think that, given a long enough, we said 10 to 20 years, that there's going to be a new group of people to pro and revitalize a lot of those things that people didn't like about it, and bring we've all over-examined it, but I think there's going to be like those new fresh eyes. I don't know how many people were like hated the prequels for years, and then they had kids, and then they're like, oh, or a new generation of people like saying that was their favorite. You guys actually just talked about that with
Adam
Steve,
Adam Witt too, yeah.
Okay, but I was going to say with Steve, because he said that he was surprised that people would say like, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Were their favorite ones, and now he's kind of like, he's still not a fan, but like, but it's just going to be that. But yeah, man, again, as always, thank you for being a general. Thank you for doing the pod race, and may the Force be with you.
Jeremy, I really appreciate your honesty here, because I feel like it's easy to say that you love everything and everything's great and everything is awesome type situation. But I really liked how you were like, hey, it's not for me, but that's okay. And I like what I like. And I think that's what makes the Star Wars fandom so great at times, is we don't all agree on every single thing, and we like different parts of different things. We like one movie more than the other. That's just how the world works. So I think the more we can take moments like this and really appreciate each other's opinions and just respectfully be like, okay, cool, is the better off we're all going to be. So thank you for being a general. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
And now we're going to head to John to hear from the rest of the community.
All right. Yeah, it is time for Ask the Resistance.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
Okay, we put out a call for questions. You send them in. We talk about them, have a good time, and give you shout outs and speculate on your Twitter handles, all that good stuff. You can also email us questions. Some people do emails from time to time. resistancebroadcast@gmail.com. And of course, if you're a patron, you can send it in the chats or on the Patreon page, wherever. But here we are. We have a few here. Lacey, we're going to start things off with you. This is Droid Mechanic at Agent Wawa.
Ooh, I like Droid Mechanic.
I like Agent Wawa. Wonder if they're a fan of Eric Clapton guitar playing.
I bet you they're a fan of Wawa.
No, they're not.
The what?
You're
They're
talking about
not.
the gas station?
Yeah.
No, we actually discussed that
Oh.
in the chat. Yeah. And he'd never heard of it before. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's like if
love
a
their
gas station was
cheesesteaks.
called Subway,
Yeah.
but you could get these subs and that was Subway, but you can't find it anywhere else. Yeah, it's kind of...
I bet he's a fan of the wah-wah pedal.
Yeah,
the guitar effects pedal. All right. The question from Droid Mechanic is: before Rogue One came out, I speculated our heroes would be captured and housed in a prison cell on the Death Star, only to be blown up at the end of Episode 4. That is brutal. And he's saying it would have changed how we view Episode 4 forever. But Lacey, what do you think? How'd you feel about how they ended the story for Cassian and Jyn?
First of all, again, I really like your name, Droid Mechanic. That's so
Mhm.
funny. It's interesting because I think that was one of the big stories that came out of Rogue One, not just leading into it, but like after the fact when they were talking about like how it came about and who came up with the stories and stuff. In the original story, they survived, but then you have a lot of this explanation of, okay, but then where did they go? Because they, there's this whole other story that happens and Jin's not involved and like all these other things. But I think I'm happy with the way that it went. And even though it's super depressing and, you want your heroes to survive and have that happy ending and everything works out, I think that this movie in particular reminds us all that no one wins in war. There's always casualties. There's always people that get hurt and people that get killed. And it was more about the sacrifice of doing what they needed to do to make sure that hope lived on past them. It was more about the legacy of doing the right thing than the people themselves. It's bigger than them type thing. So I'm okay that they didn't get out. It is sad again because I really like those characters, but I think that they did the right thing with the story and made it more impactful that they didn't make it out.
Nice. I think it might have been Kathleen Kennedy who made the call.
She did.
No.
I think she said, did she make the call or did she say like, yeah, you can kill them?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. It was in an interview and it was, I think Tony Gilroy was like, can I kill them? And it was like, yeah, you can kill them. Like,
I remember when they
The
said
power.
they sent in the draft, they were like, this doesn't make sense, right? You have to kill these
Right.
characters. So
yeah,
it might be a little bit of both.
I think so. And she finally was like, yeah, sure. Go kill him. You can kill him.
Like they were almost expecting them to be dead. But then when they
Right.
didn't kill them, they were like, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah. All right. James, Matt Ham at Matt Ham. Way to get your handle, Matt. That's how you do it. That's how you get it
Ham.
done. Matt asked, will Star Wars video game characters like Calcus and Darth Revan make it into live action upcoming series or movies? Now, Darth Revan has been very popular with fans this past week. Also with the rumors of KOTOR coming back, a lot of craziness. James, what do you think? Specifically about these two characters. I guess.
Yeah, specifically about these two questions or characters. The interesting thing here, Matt, is that these are entirely two different things. One is that Calcus is an existing new canon character that is played by an actor who is very famous for beyond Star Wars, like famous
Yes.
before he was in this, and they made his character look like the actor, probably and potentially very, because there's a
Smart.
good chance that he could play this character in live action. I put the way that Disney Plus is going, where they're playing into a lot of this stuff and they're pulling in these characters for an episode here or there, I actually think there's a really good chance that down the line you are going to see a Calcus show up in something that takes place in that era where he's doing well. Or he's around that age that, the Jedi Fallen Order era. The reason I say Darth Revan is a completely different thing altogether. Yes, that's a huge fan favorite. So you would put a lot of money in, like, well, if obviously they're going to bring this person back. He's tricky because in that area of time that is not canon really at this point, the Knights of the Old Republic stuff, they may want to tell a completely different story, much like how they have basically written out Mara Jade, a very clear fan favorite character that is probably never going to make it into canon. So when I see Darth Revan, I go, hey, this is cool. And I think there's a good chance that they'll bring him because he is so popular, like a Thrawn. They brought Thrawn back, right? But there's always the chance that why do that when you have the potential that people are going to be like, oh, they changed it. Oh, they ruined it. And you could completely open the door to be like, that story still exists. Now we've brought this story into existence and it's completely different. And it doesn't involve Darth Revan. But if you want Darth Revan stuff, go check it out here. So I think on a probability thing, Cal Kestis more likely.
That's a good point.
It makes me wonder if they did make
Very
Revan happen, how angry would people get?
That's what scares me. Yeah. You can only, you got to cast Keanu and then everybody, all is forgiven. It doesn't matter what it is. It's Keanu. So you're okay with it.
That's my biggest fear with the Old Republic stuff is the can of worms that would unleash. The people are just not prepared for that.
And expectations.
Especially with what happened this week.
Gatekeeping. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Already
if
you
they
can
were,
tell those fans are bitter about something.
Yeah, I wouldn't even, if I was Kathleen Kennedy, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. Or she gets mad enough where she brings him back and he gets killed. Like
she kills him in the first scene. Just
like Drew Barrymore in Scream. Just like put him in there and just
yeah. You visit Lucasfilm and you see her yelling out the window, "We're gonna make our own Knights of the Old Republic, and it's gonna be better."
Right. Yeah. Right.
You don't know who she's yelling at. It's just out the window.
Sometimes that's how you get things done. Yeah. All right. So last one here is from Hondo Onaka. All right.
Whoa. Fan of the show.
Andrea Marcer. What's up, Andrea? Unless it's Hondo posing as Andrea. We're not really sure.
Hondo, way to not get your handle.
Right. Yeah. Way to go,
you mixed
Hondo.
up all the letters.
They asked, what are the chances we will see Rex's death portrayed in the Ahsoka series? That's interesting, because then you have to get Tamir Morrison back. He's busy right now, obviously filming the Book of Boba Fett. I assume we'll see him pop up in other stuff. He loves being back. He loves the star treatment he's getting. He joked about that in his interview that he did with some local New Zealand news station. But
the one where they were touring his garage.
It's like weight room or whatever. Yeah,
my garage.
Right. Yeah. He's like, it's my workout station over there. I don't know. I could see that. I think we're gonna see Ahsoka's death in the Ahsoka series.
Yeah,
so
me too.
I think all bets are off. I think if Ahsoka dies, Rex probably dies too. Are we looking at another Rogue One situation? I don't know. It would be cool to see Ahsoka die saving Ezra, and then Ezra gets to go off and appear, like Lacey said, with Rey and stuff, and we get to see an old man Ezra bopping around. But oh man, I think the chances are good.
Can I say one thing really quick? You forgot that she, I'm assuming Andrea is a girl, I'm sorry. She said crying face, like emoji.
Sad. Very sad. Yeah. I would assume. I mean, imagine she's like, Do you think
She's so
we're gonna
excited.
see Rex's
the hard eyes emoji.
Yeah.
I bet if you see a
Hates Rex.
death, I get this feeling that you won't see Rex. You'll see him, he'll be there, but I don't think you'll see him die. I think they'll push a moment where he's like, I should have went before her. She didn't deserve to.
Well,
die,
I'll say this. I hope we do, because I feel like there needs to be, I don't know, Rise of Skywalker with the cloning, but there has to be an end game with the cloning in Star Wars in terms of the timeline, where we just gotta cut the cord.
The next bad batch.
Right? So
batch 2, even batchier.
Better.
even badder. Yeah. I just feel I've been cloned out for a while, and I feel like these characters keep popping up, and they keep creating new things to like how much freaking Captain Rex do we need? I'm sorry, guys. Like it's
I'm
enough.
getting John feels about the Bad Batch the way he feels about Fast and Furious. He's like, another one.
Well, it's not even the Bad Batch. It's because Rex isn't part of the Bad Batch. It's just. I just
you're
want to
not
think
gonna
we're
go see
done.
Bad 9, the Bad Saga.
No, probably not. Probably not. I'm not going to see Fast 9 either. That franchise stinks.
I think it looks fun.
Yeah,
I'm very excited for it.
Let's take our Honda Civics to outer space when the first movie's about stealing DVD players. Freaking break.
The Bad
all right,
Batch,
so
the Bad
I'm gonna
Saga.
say, I'm gonna end my time here by saying I think we could see it, and I think Tamara Morrison likes paychecks, and I think that goes a long way. So we'll see. Hopefully, he gets a good death so people don't freak out Akbar style. But again, this is Star Wars, and you don't always get the death you want. And that's the way it works. But all right,
Good
that's
answer.
it.
Good answer.
We want to thank everybody for listening, watching, being a part of TRB. Make sure you do subscribe to the show, like Lacey said before, all audio podcast apps, and of course, right here on the channel. We're marching towards 7,000 subscribers. We'd like to hit 10K. That'd be our next goal. So keep spreading the word about the video format, even though I know most of you do listen to the show. StarWarsNewsNet.com for all of your Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. Make Solo 2 happen day, May 24th, Monday. Get it in your brain. Get it in your calendars. Get ready to tweet out hashtag Make Solo 2 happen. You can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey and at StarWarsNewsNet.com, and my movie podcast, Nostalgia Style, at Just Like the Movies, on all your podcast apps as well. James?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Meyer Trunks, and I don't know if this is actually like the time or place to announce it or whatever, but I think we are gonna, or at least I'm probably gonna be doing some sort of like Bad Batch review, something.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you're doing the Bad Saga. I just got so.
Oh no. No. So, but if it's successful and we like it, you can look forward to my reviews of B9, the Bad Saga. Yeah, it's coming out. But no, yeah. So if you liked what I did, at least for with the Clone Wars fan show, where I was kind of like reviewing the episodes and talking a little bit about them and kind of opening up the discussion, it's likely that I'll probably be doing something for Bad Batch as well. So look forward to that. Yeah.
We got to come up with a clever name.
It's called Bad Chats. No. This is why we do this stuff off air.
Oh, it's just getting started.
No, for sure. Yeah, James is going to be all over that. And that starts May 4th, right?
May 4th, yeah. 70-minute episode.
Yes, and apparently, I don't know if they're doing more than one season, but it's going to be more than just like an 80 episode thing, like Clone Wars. So you got your work cut out for you. All right, Lacey.
People can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gillerin, praying to Hasbro gods on May the 4th.
Give me the
speaking
gold.
Of gods, you can see us on Thursday with our new episode where we're going to interview the man who made this album. John Powell, the composer of Solo, will be joining us. A can't miss. I'm just going to say that. Can't miss. It's going to be an amazing episode. So if you're a fan of Solo, if you're a fan of Star Wars music, we have an Academy Award nominated Star Wars composer on the show. So join us on Thursday. But until then, enjoy your weeks. Stay awesome. We love you, and we'll see you next time right here on the Resistance Broadcast. See you around, kids.